Hey, storytellers, Storytelling Ron here, and I'm going to go over the Dark Ages campaign book, how I'm working on it and developing it. And I just realized I just sat up and my thing is a little off my camera. Let me just move that a little bit. So yeah, I want to, what I've been enjoying lately is Sly Flourish's just GM talking stuff, just talking about all the what he's working on, and he's working on Shadow Dark campaign he just finished, and then now they're doing a 5e1 or whatever. And I get it, man. The nostalgia of all this is wonderful, and I'm listening to that because I'm tired of all the other stuff. Right? I'm tired. I like Sly Flourish is just talking about the game itself, so I gotta get back to that too myself. Obviously the politics and the rants I'm still gonna do, but I want to separate those out if I can. So, it's funny, those they do get, as long as I put Dungeons and Dragons in those, they'll get some, it's like clickbait, and I get a ton of whatever. But there's no Christian RPGs out there. So one of the biggest things about doing an RPG is you need nostalgia, you need influence, you need ideas, you need to talk about it. So I'm gonna try to do more of these type of things if I can. So I'm working on the Dark Ages rule campaign book, rather, and I'm really fleshing it out even more. When I created all of this, I did it sort of in a flurry because stupidly as I am, I decided to work on Dark Ages, then Apocalyptic, and then Christian Space, all at the same time, while playtesting and developing the rules as well. I just kind of obsessed over all these because I wanted us Christians to have this, missionary evangelism. I love the concept, and then I'm like, ooh, I want to put it in these different genres and stuff, and so I kind of obsessed over every one of them. And I've been, I really focused on Christian Space because that needed planets, and we were doing a Christian Space campaign. And the Dark Ages one, I was doing like a little bi-weekly one with some people, but I didn't focus on it that much. But I play tested it with them for like a little mini campaign, but I kept it like small and macro. But now I'm trying to build this out and really give it some oomph. I like this intro mission that I did, or encounter, because it really tested them immediately. Oh, this is what we got to do. And there is an adventure. They come to the entrance of a forest that they got to get through to get to their actual mission. And at the entrance is a totem shrine here where they got to give an offering to Pan, the satyr forest god. Kind of a gross god in my opinion, but anyway, half goat, half man, whatever. And I use him kind of over and over as a pagan god. Anyway, so it's a very bitter evil mother and her two emotionally distraught sons. Basically, they're sitting there bored, and they expect you to give an offering to the shrine to Pan for a safe passage. So right there, I love this, giving this sort of dilemma to the Christians, the missionaries, like, oh, now they got to think. And I've played this with a couple of groups, and it's gone very well and weird and awkward, and they had a discussion on it, like what do we do? So it's just a great little adventure. And if they don't give to the offering, then the sons go off into the forest and set traps, or leave the traps they have already set, kind of a thing. And so then the people traveling are going to have trouble because they didn't give it to Pan. Now here, and you can come up with your own ideas as well, but basically here's a boar they have sitting in a mud pit that they dug out in front of the road, and then they put down some bushes and trees to make it so you have to go close to the pit. You can avoid it, and then over here they've actually closed off the real path, and you end up going to another shrine where they have a finale where they really scare you or whatever. And then in the middle is some wolves that they will unleash at some point to attack them. Forest wolves that are very hungry. Now, there's counters to this. Like, for instance, if they hear or discover the camp in the middle, and this should be hidden, by the way, then they can go in and see that the wolves are. If they just feed them, the wolves will take off and leave. They're kind of peaceful in that sense. there's that. There's discovering what's going on over here and taking this path instead of that path. I mean, but you as a GM can come up with all your own little simple, crude traps or tests that they set up if they do set up something, and they can become violent if the preaching goes bad. She has a little bit of a 4 magic points. So let me explain that real quick how that works. She can spend those 4 magic points. And, she's very weak, she's very low level, so she can add 1 to deluge, and she rolls a d4 because 1 is remember d4, d6, d8, d10. She spends 1, gets a d4, and what she's doing here forces sons to do her bidding. That's her magic. That's her spells. So you as a GM can come up with any kind of dark magic, black magic, whatever that you want for that. In the what does it mean? It means that gives them that mechanic is just giving the someone a die rank bonus, or taking vitality off of them, whatever. The resist is 12 with spirit. Generally you can add or prowess, exactly your toughness, your constitution, or it can be resist versus being attacked, like taking damage for some reason, being penalized for some reason. And you just gotta decide what it is. Is it your prowess? Is it your spirit? Those are the 2 main ones. Where to dodge, because if it's a puff of poison. So the magic in this game is like it's very simplistic. It might be too simplistic because it's conceptual. Hope you're following me there. But as a GM, you just come up with things that you want. I have a list of ones you can use, obviously. But for her, I just made this up. Forces sons to do her bidding. So what happens is she's going to give 1 to deluge so she can get both sons. So as long as she rolls a 2, 3, or 4, she'll get both sons. If she rolls a 1, I have to GM play it off that she only converts, gets 1 of them this resist. So she has 3 magic points left. That's 3 die ranks she gives to them to resist any conversion by the missionaries. That's it. That's her whole magic. 1 of those. She wants to control her sons, and her sons will do her bidding, with that same roll or whatever. And duration is something you can spend with your faith points or magic points or whatever the points are. But for her, I'm just gonna say it's for that encounter because she's with them all the time, so it's gonna affect them the whole time. They're dealing with each other, them and the missionaries. So that's something you can, as a GM, discretionary thing. So let's just say, well, I don't need to roll anything. But they are at conversion level 4, so they're shameful, prone to anger, violence. So they already have a 2 die rank resist to conversion, because of their conversion level. Hers is 2, so she's very controlling, evil, bitter mother. I rolled these out just now. I just rolled them out now, so that they worked out really well. Oh, I rolled 2d8, picked the lowest because I figured they were very, typically evil. It could have been that she was a 4 and they were a 2, and I like kind of rolling them out and then putting them in there and just going with that, trying to figure out what that dynamic is. So if they can get to the sons may stop her, not kill her, but just stop. Mom, you're being a, or whatever, and they, they'll let them pass and be peaceful. There could be a conversion thing going on there, and you can make them characters later on in the village where they come to the village and go up and talk to them and become helpers of the church. Also, if they do give an offering to Pan just to avoid any problems, they should go to the village and tell the others that those Christians worship Pan. They gave an offering at our shrine in the forest. Okay, and then so the basic encounters is going to be a boar at the mud pit and wolves in the forest. So this is like an intro type of first level, where they can work on using their combat, their blessings, etc. Okay, as we move on, they go to Ravio, where the actual mission is. So this game is kind of mission based initially, and then you can kind of open it up to them going about and doing different things if you want. I gotta hold on a sec. I gotta pause this. We're gonna talk about Ravio. I got a Discord message I'm waiting for. Hold on a sec. Okay. He got it. Okay. I'm just going to put this out there even on this video. If you are wanting to start a game at a church or a homeschool group, I am more than happy to give you what you need for this, because I'd love it to be a minute business, but I guess I need to start off as a ministry or whatever and give it out to people because I just don't know. It's not the marketing obviously has to be give out some stuff, but I do want this to get to churches so that you all can start groups, fellowships, and your own ministry with it. And so if you're part of that and you want these games, I will give you the PDFs. I'll even give you the assets if you want, print and cut out the little assets. You can use whatever you want, like miniature wise. But anyway, I have all that. So that's just a little commercial here. The hard prints of these are available on Amazon, by the way. This will be available on Amazon soon. I'm just working on it right now, another month or two. Whew, I got to get this all done. Okay. So the Ravio, the encounter here, let me zoom in on this just to, don't type, please. Okay. So this is the map. And again, you can create your own sort of version of this, right? Or your own way of doing it if you want. This is my example of the printouts or me doing it in a VTT. Foundry obviously is what I use here. But I put them together, make my own kind of map. It's like I'm doodling a map too. I'm like, well, let me put this here, put that there. I kind of want them to go through here. Basically, there's a village. There's a forest path to the mines up the hill. You can create your own forest path and whatever little random encounters. You can make it longer, and they have a little journey with a camp, and if you want. There's a bridge chasm here that I have, but you can do it any way you want. There's a pit trap here that they got to go. This is hidden in the game, and then a lot of this stuff is hidden, by the way. Like the mine is all hidden. The Lost Temple is definitely hidden over here. When you do the game, and the Lost Temple I added just recently because I wanted to have a Dungeons and Dragons dungeon crawl nostalgic feel to the game, so I'm going to add more than historically precedented, dungeons and lost temples and Hyborian type stuff to it. It's the 6th century. And by the way, we don't have all the history of the 6th century, right? We don't have all the lost, blah, 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 blah. But I want to go ahead and do that. I want to go ahead and do sort of a Robert E. Howard type of, stuff that you could have in there as well. And the missionaries go about doing evangelism, church planting, and fighting primordial beasts and stuff like that. I want to do like the primordial. I want to really sneak in the primordial stuff like in King Kong, Skull Island type creatures, prehistoric, primordial, and steal any other kind of genre that's earth based like zombies, vampire, cannibal-y types, that have extra strength or abilities because of that creepy dark black magic thing. So I want more. I want us to have our cake and eat it too. I want us to be Christian evangelists, but also kind of a hard PG-13, R-rated in a sense, but only in the violent sense, not in the sexual sense. Okay. So there's a pit trap here. There's a mine here. There's a sort of first finale where they fight a horned one in this grotto temple, this cave temple here in the mines. And then they may discover. I mean, you're going to make them discover the chasm offering pit here, where there's some stuff down there, and they go down and discover an old tunnel that the horned ones don't even know about, leading to an old Sumerian temple with some scary stuff in it. And that's the coolness. And here, the village, you come into the village, and it depends on if you want an open campaign or like a straight to the mission campaign. If they come to the village, they can come into a slave offering or where they offer the boys up to the horned ones as sacrifice. They take them to the. I don't want to do like human killing sacrifice, which is typical of pagans, but I wanted to do a slave one, which is very typical of pagans. And so that's I noticed too, a little rant here. Sorry. But I noticed that a lot of these RPGs and pagan RPGs now want to erase slavery from the thing. Slavery was a huge part of paganism, right? So they're trying to erase that from the RPGs, like it doesn't exist or something, or it's offensive. It's offensive because it's their history. Slavery is huge history of paganism. Christianity, our history is fighting slavery, is not liking slavery and actually bringing about the new concept of freedom and liberty for all and rights for everyone, inalienable rights of life, liberty, and justice for everyone. We ended slavery. We had it for a few hundred years, right? But we fought it the entire time. Half the Christians fought it, the other half looked the other way, and the pagans continued on with their slavery from day one till to today. It's getting worse. Child trafficking and slavery today is exploding because the church is not there. So I am not taking out slavery or the bad things that pagans do in this game. I am keeping all of that because I'm keeping it real. I mean, for role playing, it's just weird. It's just weird how they remove slavery, and it's like that was huge. I mean, that was the economy, of paganism. That still is the economy of paganism, by the way. So anyway, so slavery, they're giving up their sons, and so the mission is to go in there and say this is wrong, and that's what Christians do. We go somewhere and we look around and we say, and we see all we see is paganism because that's the default, and they say, and this is wrong, and this is the game I want for you guys. I want you guys and your kids to go in and go, this is wrong. You set up the paganism that's going on, and they see it and play it, and this is wrong, and hopefully your kids will be so bad at preaching and evangelism that they'll turn to an awesome combat fighting, everyone's dying, violence. But and then they subdue them and get them to change their minds, Anyway, that's just a joke. But yeah, I mean, definitely want some combat in there. Want some baddies in there. They got to fight and then persuade everyone. So there's that, and there's I've got some characters in there. I rolled. I already had a storyline, so it was a little weird the way I had to roll it out using the rule book. But I wanted to roll out some in there just for the fun of it. And I got a tanner named Mono and a wheelwright named Brunib, and I rolled their conversion level. And he's a 7, the tanner, and Brunib is a 6. So they're, I wrote a little bit about like what they're thinking and blah blah blah. But then I rolled out the villagers. They're right here. Let me put this in bold. They're a 2. So the villagers are manipulative evil. They're in on it. So the tanner and the wheelwright are seeing their whole village is so into this giving up their sons, So there's that interesting thing. And so the mob will form pretty quickly to resist. They got a 4 die rank resist to preaching. So you got to break that down. And the way you break it down is you, as a preacher's, you got to figure that out, but you add bonuses to your preaching based on what you've done there. Maybe if you've defeated the mob without killing anyone, the GM will award you 1 or 2 die ranks bonus for that. You just beat them and subdue them. Or you bring gifts, or you bring something to them. Or you rescue, the biggest, obviously, way to do it, the primary goal is to end the evil that is controlling the village, right? Which is the horned ones in the plot and all that. Once you do that, I, as a GM, would give you serious die rank bonuses to counter their evil resistance. And you beat them down with the truth, There's also, and I did this side quest. I rolled a side quest. There's a traveling clan side quest. And I rolled that out. They're CL4, neutral evil, plus 2 D-res, die rank resists. I even rolled out the makeup of the caravan, and it turns out they're both slaves. Like, I just wanted to roll 2 rolls, two groups or what. And it turns out they're slaves, so I'm like, ugh, this is weird. But then I worked with it, and so it's 2 slaves that are actually traveling here, and this is a way for me to add. I decided, it'd be cool to add that they're from the next town over, so which is where the missionaries can go next, and they're coming here to appease and make an offering to the horned ones and to the shaman Pharrell there. By the way, all these names come from the rulebook, the little list. I roll them out. I'll usually do a 1. There's 3 syllable rollouts, right? So I'll do a 1 syllable if I think it's a slave or someone simple, like Benet and Sale there. And then I'll do 2 syllables if I think they're, next level up artisans like the tanner and the wheelwright. Brunib is 2 syllables. Mono, 2 syllables. And Pharrell here, the shaman, is a low life shaman. And so and the mayor, Banbarte. And I got these names, by the way, these syllables, really from the hagiographies and the old Dark Ages stuff I was reading. Their names were so wacky like that, like just and they all fit like what I was reading, like Ben Barte, So the mayor is and the mayor's conversion is a 2. I rolled a 2, and by the way, these ones are all averages. I rolled just a D8. So 1 is violently evil, and by the way, if someone is violently evil, I will not make them just come out and attack you if it's a leader. The brigands or guards or bandits might come out and attack you immediately if there's no one around. If I rolled a 1 for violently evil, I would make it so they're first assessing you and then deciding when to attack you to beat you up, like enslave you, imprison you, blah blah blah. But they're not going to just come out and attack you, unless it's like their lair, their hidden place, their where they know no one else is around. But if they're in a town, they're not going to come out and just straight attack you. They're looking for ways to attack you. That's the conversion level 1. So yeah, he's a CL2, conversion level 2, and so he's in on it too. He wants the riches. I rolled, and in him I even rolled like sort of. I went further along with the rolling in the rule book, and he seeks riches through manipulation. So a little more thing there. And so Shaman Farrell and Mayor Bombarte work together to keep the people enslaved, pick out some sons for the sacrificial offering to the Horned Ones, so that they take them to the mines and they're slave there and mine until they die, because that's how pathetic it is. Okay, so that's your village. See, that to me is a historical thing, man. Historical village. Now, generally, you'd have slaves coming from somewhere else, right? They're not going to sacrifice them, but this is like I'm going ahead and just going for the throat with this sort of storyline. The people are stupid, and they are worshiping. They're pagans, and they're worshiping the Horned Ones, and they're in fear too, right? The Horned Ones do have a hold on them with their Horned One warriors, brute, and beasts and stuff. Okay, so the uphill path here describes more of that. I'm going to kind of go through a little faster here. I'm really getting in a lot of detail. But that's just a fun forest. You can have warrior ambush. You can have wolves encounter them. The horned beast, which is the big crazy... another thing I noticed... and I noticed another little rant, sorry, but I noticed that I even hear it on Sly Flourish and all that, like the session 0, the safety stuff they have now. Obviously, we Christians don't really need that because we already know what the safety stuff is. We already have the moral ground to start a game and know where we should and shouldn't go. But the one safety thing they have is no harm to animals, right? No, or whatever that no, I don't know, no harm to animals or pets or whatever. And in this one, I have a serious harm to the deer, serious harm. But the reason I am is because pagans love their torture and death. They love to torture and kill animals, right? They love to torture and kill animals, not for the sake of just eating them or I know the Old Testament had sacrifice of animals, but there was also rules in caring for animals. And in the end, we stopped sacrificing animals. God says, while you did that, I gave you something. The way I, as a layman, look at that interpretation, I read it over and over, and it's sort of dispersed throughout. He gave them that animal sacrifice as a ritual to give them something to do to serve him, right? A reason to serve him, right? A way to serve him. But as time went on, he said, you don't need to do that anymore. I don't like it. Love love me with all your whole heart and love your neighbor the same. So he switched it from, and to me that was the evolution or the relationship of God and man together growing through this history, and that's what the Old Testament really is about. But he said, stop doing this because it's becoming a ritualized thing, and start actually doing the real worship, which is love me with your whole heart and love your fellow man the same way. So anyway. This horned beast is basically the shamans here. The sorcerer is Soran. I can't even pronounce this. I rolled this out. Soranasiath. That's how you. Soranasiath. Soranasiath. And I'm using the same token and showing you that, hey, if you got to use the same token, that's I could have drawn out another guy, but I just wanted to kind of sometimes you can use the same miniature or whatever. He's got some crazy sorcery stuff here, some real dark magic, but I figured he did since he's delving into really bad stuff here. So what he does, and what the witches, and there's witches now too. I see I'm really building this out. They create drugs basically, and then dark magic rituals to encase the deer in this bigger dead antler thing, stag thing, whatever, and then send it out infected with rabies, type of thing. But for them, it's dark magic and possession and stuff, which is fine. You can even add that to it if you want. And it goes out and just causes chaos. But they do this only to punish the towns if the towns don't follow them, right? If you don't follow us, the Horned One will go be angry and So that's what this is. And so the people fear this thing and don't want to, they're afraid, so in fear of the horned beast ancient horned one, and they think this is the ancient horned one too. So the ancient horned one is a human man or kid or whoever, horribly drugged, encased in this thing, and controlled by the sorcerer, and possessed. Could be a willing person, pagan worshiper. There's that too. Sitting there, and the sorcerer just focuses their evil energies on this thing. And this is the finale. There's two of them. There's one at the first mine and one at the stones. And so once they kill all those, they have bonuses to, and the GM, you can kind of give them bonuses to their preaching to the locals. Okay, so there's that kind of a thing. And this is the horned ones, and this shows the horned ones. See, my little tokens here. You can fight them, or if you convert them, this is what they look like. If you can remove their stupid cosplay thing here, and they can help serve the church. Like so whenever you convert anyone in this game, don't make them part of they're fighters or they're hirelings or whatever. They're not going to be combatants for you. They're combatants in the sense of a role-playing story of supporting the church. It's like if you have these, and they'll go to the church and support it, and you'll have a better chance of the church being just stronger. And in this game, I don't have like a church mechanic like I do in the APOC and Sci-Fi one, because to me this is more of the Dark Ages. It's more of a storyline, and you as a GM can just kind of have things there that they each church that they do establish is more of just a fun little story, and you can have that church, possibly give them a gift or item to help them along their way, or more missions to further the story. And each time they plan a church, there's a time there where they spend there for a few weeks as ministers come and populate the church, and then the missionaries then go out to their next mission. But they stay for a little while to get it up and running. And based on that role playing, you can decide what support that church can give them. Okay, does it give them any sort of magic items and being holy items or bonus items, or does it give them just a little extra rations, or does it just it's just a good place for them to come and rest and heal up and spend their glory points there. So it could be that simple, or it could be grand or whatever. All right, the Lost Temple. So here I am adding a Lost Temple, and this is obviously the one right underneath the mine, and it's an old Sumerian type, theme to it. I'm just trying to get like some coolness. There's even a demon at the end finale, with a tricky way of actually getting rid of it. And you got some primordial beasts in there, giant cave crabs, and spiders. And I'm just, I'm using like modern concepts to sort of replicate Dungeons and Dragons kind of creatures and beasts and stuff. But for this one, I wanted to keep it very simple and primordial. Vampiric bats here, giant cave bats. So yeah. Okay. Let's move on. The Stones of Ravio is a continuation of the story, where there's these stones outside of Ravio that is the finale of this horned one thing. And you're gonna fight. They're called gunslings. I found this word somewhere in Old Germanic or something about they call it deer gunslings. Children of Alcahorn. An Alcahorn I just kind of made up, I think, with a mix of a horn and old horned one. Alcahorn. Children of Alcahorn are the deer, and the deer are in this area are somewhat crazy because they are actually being poisoned and infected by the sorcerer's demon blood. There's a demon blood that the witches make. Oh yeah, and there's another side story with the witches. They discover that. I'll get to that. There's a random encounter here, or you can make it progressive. Like they encounter the first weak thing, and then it builds up. And there's some rare scary encounters here, but the mercenaries, I rolled up this one. There's a list of I'm creating also in this campaign book. I'm creating more like tables for encounters, tables for flavor. So at the end of this, there's going to be some extra tables there, especially like names for beasts they worship. So they worship beasts, but we need names for them to make it more interesting. So I'm making a list of that so you can mix and match scary names. Oh, I gotta make some titles too. Let me go right now. I'm gonna write that down. Thank you so much for helping me out here. All the way at the back here I'm working on some names here. Okay, so here's the bestial idol names, but also we should have some title-y type names like titles too for beasts or spirits, like like children of, or I got to think of some pit, or what else? Darkness, or I'm gonna make a list of them. Make a list. Okay. So that'd be cool. But let me roll a beast name right now. I wonder if I should. Anyway, let me roll. Just for the fun of it. I got my little dice tray here. Got my dice. I know. I do wish we all had in the Russian space. I understand that the guys want to use real dice, and I get it. But I want us to all see the dice at the same time. And I had people have their own dice, and we did it that way. But it's just it's not as timing, because they look down. We're waiting for them to say their number. Then when they say it, then we all have to react to that. But I want, it's just the timing of it wasn't right. Having everyone roll on the screen is like, to me, more, there's a consistency there. But they all hate it, which is like as if the real dice are going to do that. All right. Anyway, 12, 12, and 4. Tia, I got Tiamat there, but Tia for Tira. So the children of Tira, or the child of Tira, Well, the beast name would be Tira. I know. What if I roll 12, 12, and 12? Tiamat. Oh, your pet goat you all worship is called Tiamat. I don't know. That's funny to me. That would be hilarious. Why not? Oh, am I being sacrilegious and blasphemy to pagans? Sorry, my apologies. Okay. Oh, my dog is barking out there. He needs to chill. Marley, take it easy. Oh, I need to take him for a walk, actually. It's that time. Okay. He's gonna have to wait a little bit. It's Saturday. Take it easy. Okay, where am I going? I gotta go back to where I was. I guess I should end it here. How much is this recording now? Yeah, 30 minutes. Okay, let's end it here. Oh, let me at least finish this section. Okay. Ooh, there's a lot more. But let me go quickly. So what's cool about the mercenaries is, as I rolled out there are two. I was so bummed. I think I rolled 2d6 negative because they're coming to get a delivery from the mines, right? From the slaves. And I rolled 2d6, keep the lowest, or 2d8, keep the lowest, right? For the conversion level. And I rolled a 6. 6 and a 7. I was like, seriously? A 6? Because I wanted these guys to be a scary fighting encounter. Now, they don't know that. The mission is not going to know that there are 6 listeners. But I love kind of being trapped in something and figuring out a story based off of it. So I made this guy, I named him Maxil. I rolled it out to 2 syllables. He's a slave. I rolled that out to a leader beyond this campaign. So he is charged with, I'll just read it. He is charged with bringing back the ore and will not sway from that. So he will fight if they're going to stop him from getting the ore from the slave mines. He will violently and efficiently keep that charge. See, so that makes sense. However, if converted, he will be peaceful and inform the saints of almost the entire operation. So that's interesting. He doesn't know exactly who the iron merchants are, but knows they run the whole thing from Porlezo. He can also offer a safe night and meal, but he must do his master's bidding and get the ore. Oops, I spelled ore, boat ore. Thank you guys for helping me notice that. If fully converted, he can become an ally in future campaigns beyond this one. See? So he can be an informative guy. So if they can, so actually this turns out to be a really cool encounter. I'm like, oh wow, that'd be really good. If they work it out, it could turn into a violent one if they're being Christian jerks like we always are. But if they, this could be a really cool role playing session, and this guy could be very informative. Okay, I also have the charge knockdown rules in here. Trample, and I cleaned them up a bit, and man, there's so much things like that. I'm trying to make a simple game, but there's really things that you just got to interpret, mechanically, and it's just an ever ongoing thing you encounter. So I even cleaned this up. I had a whole different sort of rule set for it, and I read it and go like, I don't like that. So I cleaned it up again. Hopefully this will be the final, but because I'm really focused. Before, I do feel like a lot of I created the basic rules, but as you get into all these little details, I was just, I think, quickly going through them and trying to just set something up conceptually and then move on. Whereas now I got to really think, especially after playing this now for 2 years, how would I, sitting there, and it's also the game mechanics is also about um, making it easy, efficient, quick. So I think that way now too when I do this. So the deer, the reason I have the charge here is because the deer are going to be charging. They're going to be, that's their main strength. So and there's a couple of different encounters, potential encounters with them, and they're crazed. And the wolves are crazed as well. Same kind of demon blood rabies is kind of permeating this area. So anything you encounter that they come off and attack you would be the rabies ones, you know, the ones that have the rabies. So, and if you get infected by it, you die. No, I don't have that as part of their thing, and that's fine. I'm not gonna, worry about getting them infected with rabies. Okay, so slave mines is obviously I've done that, and there's a finale with the circle of stones, and then beating the ancient horn one and sorcerer Sorasaniath, and there could be a witch there as well. Oh, I didn't make the witch here. Oh, I don't have the third witch. Ooh, I gotta add that somewhere. Ooh, I'm running out of space. Okay. Where? Ooh, boy, I really squeezed this in here. The finale of the stones, but it's good enough. It's got all you need. But I did not. I forgot to add a witch. There's if there's a witch here, she could be here or she could be at the other place. It depends on the GM's role or decision making process. But I gotta fit her on this page somehow, because here is the finale there, and then this is part of it. So I gotta add the witch down here. It's gonna be shoot. I'll figure out how to put her there because I haven't even finished it. The first witch. Stats. Remark. She is here. Okay, so I got to put that in there. So once they finish this finale, there's a continuation now that the witches who served this horned one were the ones creating the demon blood. That is the rabies that is kind of infecting everything in the area and making everyone afraid. And also the drugs for the horned ones. So they're at a desecrated church. One of the servant. Okay, where is it at? What's it called? Church of St. Antonius. Desecrated church. Church of St. Antonius. Now, I'm fine with this because that's what happened. Like there was an ebb and flow of churches in that period. Even though it's 6th century, there was like 300 years of ebb and flow of churches. And it's a little, bigger than, like, this is probably once a pagan temple, turned into a church, turned back into a pagan freaky deaky. So that's what this is. And it's a nice flow of things going on. I've got some new props in here I've drawn, new dungeon door. I didn't have dungeon doors. I didn't have in my original props. That was interesting. I realized, I'm like, oh man, I need some dungeon doors. I have a little pit there, these are called, oh my gosh, what are they called? They're called, what are they called? They're called something. They're called something. There's an actual name for them. Sarcarcia. I have it in the thing. I'm not going to look for it. I should put it in here. Actually, I must have put it in here. No, not there. I haven't written this one out yet. The long lost. I'll get them in there. But the long lost crypt is right here, which I haven't even finished. Here we go. These are rabies zombies. Rabies. I just drew those out. So so what happens is they got a church. They have the witches and the guards and this is hilarious. Let me explain this guy. This cracks me up. I got the witches out here. I explain what they do, and then I also am teaching a lesson about the rituals. So she created a dark vision ritual, and so I rolled it out right here and documented it as to what she's doing. She's got her spirit 4 D20, and she's got 12 die ranks to the ritual of dark vision because she spent all her magic points in one day. And then I gave her 2 die rank bonuses because she's at a desecrated shrine and she's in a church. So I told those are extra die ranks, that give her psychological whatever. So she's get these dark visions, and so I roll, and the total I rolled is a 15 or D20 for 12 die ranks, which is a D12, D12, and a D6, right? So 5, 5, and 2 rank is D1, D2 is, or D1, or I'm sorry, 1 is a D4, 2 is a D6. So she has a D6, two 5 die ranks, which is a D12, D12. That's a dice pool. Hope you're following me. 12 die ranks. Die ranks divided by 5 is your dice pool of the dice, right? Of the classic D4, D6, D10, D12, right? So 12 die ranks divided by 5 is 2. So 2 of these, that's a D12 and another one. And then what's left? What's the remainder? 2. So 2 is a D4, a D6. This is a D6. So that's what you put in there, and you keep the highest. Why do I use die ranks like this in a dice pool, like 12 die ranks? Because I love it. You can add so many different die ranks of different things to your skill, to your ritual, to your engineering, to your science, or whatever. And there's no like 10th level cap. There's no, you don't break the game, but you get this, you slowly build up this average of potential success, right? Slowly over time. And after 50 episodes, the characters in my game, high level or low level, they're all in together, and the high levels have this dice pool type thing, but they're still can fail. They can still roll low, and I'm going to show you why. And so she does this vision. She rolled a total of 26. I rolled the D20 was a 15. Her spirit is 4. And then I rolled the dice pool. I rolled a 7, 5, and a 1. So she got the 7. The total now is a 26. That's her roll for the dark vision. What's 26? I minus 12, which is the 12 is a default difficulty. I could have changed that number based on whatever, but 12 is just, let's keep this simple. So what is 26 minus 12? 14. Half of that is 7. That's the die ranks. 7 die ranks. So her vision gave her 7 die ranks. What does that mean? Right. You decide as a GM, how to interpret that. The 7 die ranks is inspired die for the witch and her to use against the missionaries when they come, because her vision is about the missionaries, like, the Christians coming. Now, does this dark vision, and we can interpret this story-wise however we want. Is she really creating a vision and talking to a demon or a spirit about the missionaries? Could be. Or is it like her doing this dark vision thing, crystal ball or whatever, and a crystal ball could give you a couple die rank bonuses right there. But if she's doing this, it could be that she's just strategizing. She's just, working on how to beat them or how to defend against them. It could be that's simple too. It could be a meditative thing, and she got inspired die to figure out something. So anyway, 7 die ranks. What does that mean? So she can split that up amongst her witch, the guards, however I as a GM see fit. They're going to get these die ranks just like missionaries do, where they get a bonus to do their things. And so that's what that is. She could add it to traps, security, or the guards, or whatever. So I'm going to, split it up when the time comes. And then I explain like what is a 7 die rank trap, or whatever. I explain that. But here's a funny thing. I did the same thing with hag. Oh, this is the hags. Striga is a Slavic name for a witch. Mothrider. Sliga Mothrider, I rolled that out. Striga Mothrider, and Hag Grimatmer. Pretty cool, huh? I like them. Okay. She is going to create a drug of violence, and that's her ritual concoction die rank result. So, same thing. She has her foul magic is the same. I rolled it. I came out with 10, which is hilarious. And that's exactly what I came out with her, the other one. I was like, fine, whatever. So then I thought of, what are extra DRs? Okay, she's in a cellar, and she has mixing tools that are really good. So I give her 2 die ranks there. So same thing, 12 die ranks. That was just, here. So 12 die ranks. Wow, same as her sister's DR result. Huh, ooh, creepy. Okay, whatever. Okay, so then same thing. I had a D12, and a D6. She's the same thing, D20 plus 4 for a spirit. And I rolled that out. Now, you could do spirit. I could do intellect, because she's making a drug. Probably should have done intellect, actually, but I'll just leave it the way it is. Actually, you know what? Let me do that. I got to be cool about this. Let me, and it doesn't change the result though, because you'll see why here in a minute. What am I doing here? Plus 3. I got to, okay. Using intellect, because it's crafting. Maybe I should do a real word here, because it's crafting. Okay. So let me put that number down. to 14 is the result. Okay, well, yeah, I just gave that away. So 2 divided by 2 equals... Okay, so what I rolled is I rolled a 5 on the d20. I rolled a 3 for her spirit. Or the 3. And then I rolled a 5, 3, and a 6. See? So you can still kind of go, blah, choke. Even though you got all these... That's what I love about this. I love that because, if this was like some real, high level or whatever hardcore, and they get all these die ranks and blah, and they're always... In games, once you get like 5th, 7th, 8th level, you're always assuming you're going to hit, because it's those constant high level numbers. Whereas in this, you don't get constant high level numbers. You get that little trait constant, but everything else is die ranks, and they all combine, right? So if you got I love that because it slows down that constant like high thing and keeps you, just keeps a sort of bell curve medium that slowly moves up as you get a ton of stuff, right? So her result was a 14. I was like, man, I wanted 7 die ranks, 8 die ranks, 12 result 12. I wanted like a super high number. Because the drug of violence was going to give this berserker all these bonuses, right? And probably kill him in the end. But they were going to like unleash this berserker on them, like the scary, crazed, almost demonic fiend going crazy after the missionaries if they came to the church. Not the case. So the drug she made is not as powerful as she was hoping. And by the way, when they make these drugs and stuff, I only consider them to last like a few hours, like the freshness of it. There's no preservatives in it. So whatever she makes is for the next day kind of a thing. That's, just so you know, that's the way I look at it. So she made this drug, prepared it for this thing, and it's going to send it out to attack them. So it only has 1 die rank bonus, which is the default of that stupid drug. So it's literally, she did a ritual and it just became 1, she flubbed it, basically. Gave him the drug, and 1 die rank is, and as you can see in the rules here, it gives imbiber plus d4 to prowess, right? I should say 1 die rank. Plus 1 die rank to prowess. D4. I'm just going to put that in there. Plus D4. Because, it makes sense what I'm doing here. Because that could be upgraded. It could be higher. Now that's pretty powerful, Drug of Violence. Prowess and damage for 1 encounter makes for local criminals. But you have to have a resist of intellect or spirit of 12, or will attack everyone until out or all dead. Once done, the person is ill for a day. I'm going to put down, if too powerful, it could kill them. GM can decide how that works. So they would give that, use it desperately as a crazed boss, or for their expendable goons or whatever. Not that I don't have that in the story anywhere. I was kind of thinking, I should put it in the story somewhere, like in the Ravio, but I'm like, I'll just leave it. That could be I can always use this type of witch later on too, as another, for another story. Take these things, and these are meant to be examples, for later. So this berserker is going to run out with a prowess of 7 strength, and I'm adding it to the damage to the armor, to the damage to the battle axe, and I also decided to add it to the, you know what? I shouldn't add it to the hit points. I'm gonna take that off because it's only 1 die rank. So let me just. Here's the thing: if it would have been 2 die ranks, right? I could add done the basic thing where it goes to the strength, and to the, which then adds to the prowess for the attack and to the damage, right? That's 1 die rank. Like if I would have had a 2nd die rank, I would have said, okay, that will go to the vigor, the vitality, the hit points. So I could have done that. I could have spent more. So if I would have had 7 die ranks, right? I would not have added all of it to the prowess. I would have said, I'm going to put some in vigor, and add some to armor save, because they're just so crazed and drugged that, so I would have split it up amongst the different things. So, but this would have been some sort of demonic beast if it had 7 die ranks of this drug, and I would have killed it after that. Like after the drug wore off, it would have died, heart attack, or from its wounds, because it probably took more wounds than it actually really has, so it didn't know, and then it dies. Once the drug wears off, the adrenaline is gone. So that's how I would have played that. And you as a GM, you got to like use common sense in some of the stuff, right? Oh, another interesting thing is that like another quick rant, and I think I'm done with this. Or let me finish it off. But right, they also drug use is another issue for them, right? For pagan RPGs, they session 0, they want to avoid drug use, which potions are drug use. But I am not going to shy away from drugs in this because I want kids to see the horribleness of drugs, the controlling factors of drugs, and the destructive health pattern of drugs. And you as a GM can show that now in these games to show these crazed people that get drugged out, right? So you can use this as a tool to teach them about that stuff. So that's what this is as well. Meant to be. I'm not going to take out slavery. I'm not going to take out drugs. I'm not going to deal with sexuality stuff. That's a little ridiculous, too much. But I'm definitely not going to take out some of the, because sexuality is a huge part of paganism. Lust and stuff. Although I do have lust in here, so you can kind of. Oh, what am I doing here? Let me go back. Go back. Okay. So one last thing here. I'm working on the. So I don't have anything here, but I have these cool zombie-looking dudes. But here, let me kind of move it over. Here is the underneath is the mine. So what happens is the witches, to make the demon blood, they extract it from these zombies, the rabies zombies. So they pull them up part way with a hook. It's gruesome. Take out some blood, drop them, and then use it for the concoction. That's what the witch does. And the rabies zombies are in here going crazy. There's how many ever you want to put in here. I'm going to keep this pretty simple. They can explore. I'll probably have some different salvage things in there. At the very far end, there's a salvage, blah blah blah. Here, whatever. But of course, the long lost door. They find the long lost door is an old, long lost crypt, and in there they're gonna get. These are definitely priests. Monks. This is probably a safe space. They'll get some bonuses in there for finding, like glory points for finding it and returning it to the church, or returning this whole thing to the church. It becomes like a monastery or something. It's supposed to be kind of remote. See. So there you go. Cool dungeony D&D-ish, scary, freaky deaky Dark Ages, but Christian, hardcore, unafraid, unabashed, or whatever role-playing game. I'm working on it. And I'm going to make it even crazier as I go along. What page is this? I'm really pushing hard here. 23. I got 103 to go, or 103 total, and I got a lot of stuff already throughout, but thankfully my mind is buzzing now, so it's gonna, I hope, go not fast enough, but just more stuff, more creative stuff. And having those, now that in the Dark Ages, rule book, now that I created those lists, that's really helpful even for me as a 45-year veteran GM to guide me into creating these fascinating little stories and stuff. And I am working on adding more monstery primordial beast underground scary stuff as well. So that's a lot of fun. All right. Game of life, man. Evangelism, church planning, the psyche in our lives. Game of life. Roll holy dice.